to introduce to you the 2016 Reservoir Dogs.
First off, we have number 1213. It is Knocking Jay. Next up, number 18, Full Frontal Judy. Number 27 is Blitz Siren. Number 270, Cyanide. Number 31 is Lady Hoo-Ha. Number 33, Charlie Hustle. Number 333 is Tenacious D. Skating in at number 4 is Mouse. Number 565 is Glockness. Number 50, The Heat. Number 8 is Sasspot. Number 9mm, Shenanigans. And then it's number K155, that's Lip Smacker. And number W01F is Cola de Wild. The Reservoir Dolls are supported from the bench by Hopscotch, Dutch Oven, Wipeout Stout, Sprout Tail, Gene Lane, and Supernova. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Reservoir Dolls!
And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you the 2016 Unholy Rollers. Number 247, Dive Hard. Number 314, Gertrude Awakening. Number 38, Off Me Rocker. Number 48, Micro Mauler. Number 5, Gendetta. Number 5812, Sugar Rush. Number 617, Ginger Snap. Number 65, Blanche Devereaux. Number 8, Hannah Cuffs. Number 800M, Bada Boom Box. Number 847, Hello Sailor. C7 is the Manipulator. And number V5, Scarlet Osneria. Supported on the bench by Wildberry Punch, I Am Spazicus, Twisted Halo, Fang Dangled, Tangled in Muerte, Splinter Alice, and Magic Missile. Your Unholy Rollers!
And of course, no bout would be possible without our skating and non-skating officials. Officials such as Zdork, Unomas, Jay-Z, Helen Bayon, Going to Kill, Chaotic Neutral, Thaco, Eddie Lizard, Flunk You, Jezebel, Macromaniac, Keisha Bunny, Death Nelly, Brazzle, Misinformed, Stripe, Shown Up, Bad Beth and Beyond, Stark, Diaphragm, Otter, and Roadblock.
And we've got the jammers lining up already on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line. For the Unholy Rollers, we have Blanche Devereaux, number 65, jamming up against Lady Hoo-Ha, number 31 for the Reservoir Dolls. And a whistle blows, the jammers are off. Defense played by Lady Hoo-Ha against Blanche Devereaux. Before she goes up to the
getting through the pack.
And Lady Hoo-Ha slices her way through the Unholy Rollers blockers, calls off the jam, and picks up 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls. We want to remind you all to come on down to Badger Bowl for our after party after this bout. Next time you're out, stop off at Badger Bowl, your hometown entertainment destination. Live bands, bowling, and a full-service bar and restaurant, as well as catering. Call Badger Bowl for your next party.
Looking down to the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we're going to have Gertrude Awakening jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming against the Reservoir Dolls Shenanigans.
Reservoir Dolls in the front with a tight wall, holding up Gertrude Awakening, knocking her to the outside. Unholy Rollers with a wall in the back, doing the same with Shenanigans. It looks like Loch Ness and, Loch Ness as well as Knocking Jay, holding up Gertrude Awakening, but she finds her way out and picks up lead jammer status for the Unholy Rollers.
Ooh, looks like we have Knocking Jay and knocking Gertrude Awakening out to the inside, forcing her to recycle back. She is going to call off that jam.
That's right, Gertrude Awakening calls off the jam. It looks like nobody picks up any points during that jam, leaving the Reservoir Dolls with a 4-0 lead over the Unholy Rollers. Just the start of this bout, though. We've got jamming for the Unholy Rollers, Ginger Snap, number 617 in gold, up against Mouse, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls in black at number 4. Mouse trying to find a hole on the inside line, goes up against a tight wall of Unholy Rollers. Looks away on the outside.
That ball might have been a little too tight. She did find that hole on the outside. Mouse takes lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
Ginger Snap still held up behind some of the Reservoir Dolls blockers, trying to make her way out of the pack. It looks like Knocking Jay, Lip Smacker, and Call It Wild, as well as Full Frontal Rigidity, slowing her down. Meanwhile, Mouse making her way through the pack, picking up 5 points for a Mini Madison Grand Slam for the Reservoir Dolls.
Ginger Snap going to start engaging the back of the pack, running into a blocking force of 4 Reservoir Dolls blockers.
Trying to find an inside line, getting held up, knocked down, but recycles back around, gets back up. Meanwhile, Mouse picking up another Grand Slam for the Reservoir Dolls, bringing her to 10 points this jam. Unholy Rollers, trying to defend against the Reservoir Dolls jammer Mouse. Meanwhile, the Reservoir Dolls doing a great job on defense against the Unholy Roller jammer, keeping her in the pack and unable to get out of her initial pass.
Now Mouse getting through there, picking up another Mini and Madison Grand Slam. Looked really happy about that one. She is going to juke around the Unholy Rollers defense, finding that inside line. Picking up another Mini and Madison Grand Slam. Mouse is on fire tonight.
Ginger Snap getting out of the pack, bringing the Reservoir Doll blockers to a no-pack situation. And she's followed closely by Mouse, who picks up another 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls. That's a 24-point jam for Mouse, and 0 points for the Unholy Rollers. Mouse takes the Reservoir Dolls then to a 28 lead over the Unholy Rollers, who have not yet scored any points in this first period.
Yep, there is still plenty of time left for them to make a comeback. 28 points is not far behind at all. We're going to see what Unholy Roller jammer Scarlett Osnaria can do this jam as she jams up against, looks like Charlie Hustle. Charlie Hustle's going to get through first, taking a lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
And Scarlett Osnaria up against Lady Hoo-Ha and Sassbot in the front of the pack, getting by and out of the pack on her initial pass. Charlie Hustle into the pack now, just skates by a couple Unholy Rollers blockers, seemingly untouched. She picks up 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls. And she's going to keep skating.
Scarlet Osneria almost made it through unscathed on that inside line. Lady Hoo-Ha delivered just a brutal hit, knocked her to the inside. I believe that hit actually sent Lady Hoo-Ha to the penalty box.
And Scarlet Osneria also putting a hit on one of the Reservoir Dolls blockers, but then it looks like falling over one of her own blockers there. That'll leave the Reservoir Dolls to pick up 5 points. The Unholy Rollers pick up 4 points on that last pass. So the Reservoir Dolls a total of 9 points on that jam by Charlie Hustle up against the 4 points scored by Scarlet Osneria.
Getting down to that monkey bar Jim Jammer line, we have Blitz Siren jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She is jamming against Blanche Devereaux.
And Blanche Devereaux going back and forth. Meanwhile, Blitz Siren finding an open hole on the inside. She makes her way through and is lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls. Reservoir Dolls really putting up a tight, hard defense that the Unholy Rollers jammers are finding very difficult to get through.
Yeah, these very strong jamming, and they're really going nowhere, unfortunately, for the Unholy Rollers.
And Blanche makes it out of the pack. Blitz Siren fighting her way past some Unholy Roller blockers there. She does call off the jam, picking up 8 points on that jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Unholy Rollers with the 0 that jam. The Reservoir Dolls defense really playing well tonight so far. And Unholy Rollers jammers just finding that a little bit difficult to score points against. So let's see what Gertrude Awakening jamming for the Unholy Rollers can do against this Res Doll defense. Jamming for the Res Dolls, we have number 4, Mouse.
Oh, Mouse narrowly avoids getting knocked to the outside, does break through first, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Meanwhile, Gertrude Awakening trying to find that inside line. She does by just hopping over that apex, getting through.
The agility that these jammers have to be able to get past those blockers is amazing. Just tiptoeing on that inside line or twisting around, twirling and doing some fancy moves. It looks like Mouse picks up 3 points on that jam.
Do have another shout out here. A reminder that the merchandise table will be closing at the half of this bout. So if there's anything you want to pick up, like shout outs, other merchandise, head on down there now. This shout out says, Mr. Carlson, your leg is fixed. That is great news. Glad to hear your leg is fixed, Mr. Carlson.
And back on the track, we have Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls up against the Unholy Rollers jammer, Scarlet Osneria. Scarlet Osneria being knocked around but trying to get past the last blocker on the Reservoir Dolls. Lady Hoo-Ha through the pack. She is your lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls.
Looks like Charlie Hustle's going to the penalty box for the Reservoir Dolls, taking down the pack strength of the Reservoir Dolls by 1. Doesn't seem to be slowing them down too much, though. We have Scarlet Osneria, jammer for the Unholy Rollers, still stuck at the back of the pack.
And that Reservoir Doll defense of Tenacious D, the Heat and Saspa, holding back Scarlet Osneria. Meanwhile, Lady Hoo-Ha around the track, picking up a Mini Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points for the Reservoir Dolls. She approaches the pack. She's held up by the Unholy Rollers blockers, Sugar Rush, Bada Boom Box, and the Manipulator, as well as Micro Mauler.
Scarlet Osneria through the pack, looking to make her scoring pass. And a nice little impact jump there by Lady Hoo-Ha. Lands it, picking up a Mini Madison Grand Slam, calls off the jam. Nice play by Lady Hoo-Ha there. That does bring the score to Unholy Rollers 4, Reservoir Dolls 58. Reservoir Dolls taking a strong lead early in this bout.
That's right, but nothing that can't be overcome. And the Unholy Rollers jammer, Ginger Snap, is going to try and do that this jam for the Unholies. Jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, we have Shenanigans. And off the Monkey Bar Jim Jammer line, both jammers trying to find a hole. It looks like Ginger Snap for the Unholy Rollers finds an inside line, and she is your lead jammer for this jam.
Shenanigans being recycled back a lot, getting knocked out to to the outside again, not quite enough. Looks like Hannah Cuff's dive hard up there, doing their best to keep Shenanigans back. She does break through.
And Ginger Snap fighting her way past the last blocker, Glockness there, makes it through the pass, picking up 4 points and calling off the jam. Looks like the Unholy Rollers pick up 4 points on that jam, leaving the Reservoir Dolls with 0. They bring their total to 8 points against the Reservoir Dolls 58.
Do have another shout out here. This one is from the Res Dolls. Says, thanks Unholies for always bringing it. We're going to bring it too tonight. Love the Res Dolls. And bring it they have, folks.
Both teams bringing it here. How many of you out there are cheering for the Unholy Rollers? And we've got Scarlett Osneria Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers.
Yep, she'll be jamming against Lip Smacker for the Reservoir Dolls. Lip Smacker through, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Looks like Blanche Devereaux is going to be hot on her heels.
Both teams with 1 blocker in the penalty box. And Lip Smacker finds her way through, picking up 4 points and calls off the jam, leaving the Unholy Rollers scoreless in that jam. How many folks out there cheering for the Reservoir Dolls tonight? All right, and let's hear it from the Unholy Rollers fans. Both teams out there fighting their way on the track. Gertrude Awakening jamming for the Unholy Rollers this jam, up against Charlie Hustle for the Reservoir Dolls. And initially, Reservoir Dolls recycle Gertrude Awakening to the back of the pack, doing it again here just as Charlie Hustle makes her way out of the pack and is called lead jammer for this jam.
It looks like she almost went out on the inside line, managed to stay in that slide, taking lead jam. She does get through, picking up another 5 points and a Mini Madison Grand Slam.
That's right, Rich. She picked up those 5 points because she has a power jam. It looks like the Unholy Roller jammer, Gertrude Awakening, was sent to the penalty box for a track cut. So she'll be waiting there. Now it looks like Charlie Hustle follows in her lead and is also sent to the penalty box for a track cut.
Apparently picking up a track cut is what the cool kids are doing tonight, Dolly.
So Gertrude Awakening released from the WORT penalty box, slicing her way through the pack and trying to put back on the jammer helmet cover there.
Yep, so since she didn't get out of the pack wearing the Jammer Star, she is not currently the lead jammer.
And she finds a hole on the inside against the tight defense of Reservoir Dolls, picking up 5 points and a Mini Madison Grand Slam for the Unholy Rollers.
Looks like Charlie Hustle is back on the track. Did just make a scoring pass of 4 points. Excellent. We've got 4 points happening over for Gertrude Awakening as well.
And this jam will go the full 2 minutes. Gertrude Awakening approaching the wall of Reservoir Dolls, breaking her way through there. She picks up 4 points for the Unholy Rollers. And that jam ends. It looks like the Unholy Rollers and the Reservoir Dolls, both teams, jammers, scored 13 points in that jam. I don't know whether that's unlucky or lucky.
Well, it would depend. I would think that that's lucky at least for the Unholy Rollers.
And now jamming for the Unholy Rollers is Ginger Snap, back on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, going up against Blitz Siren, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
Blitz Siren gonna find that inside lane, gonna get lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. We've got Ginger Snap also getting through the pack. However, she gets a track cut penalty on her way through. So this means a power jam for Blitz Siren and the Reservoir Dolls.
And Blitz Siren just fighting her way through the Unholy Rollers defense. She just pushes them out of her way all by herself. Picking up that Mini Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls. Reservoir Dolls trying to help with a little bit of offense as Blitz Siren fights through the Unholy Rollers wall. We've got Off Me Rocker Micro Mauler, Bada Boombox, and Hello Sailor blocking for the Unholy Rollers.
Some very aggressive blocking happening there for the Unholy Rollers. Managed to keep Blitz Siren back for quite a while, but ended up Micro Mauler got a little bit of a penalty, has gone to the penalty box, and Blitz Siren gets through, picking up 4 points for her team.
Blitz Siren with a lot of control, skating, being able to stop right at the edge of the track there. She makes her way through for another 5 points and a Mini Madison Grand Slam for the Reservoir Dolls. And it looks like Blitz Siren again through the pack for 4 more points. Ginger Snap out of the box for the Unholy Rollers. And out of the pack now. Eligible to score points. But not before Blitz Siren can call off the jam.
And again, Reservoir Dolls just doing a really good job of getting lead jam, getting those points, and having the opposing jammer get stuck back. So that was another jam where the Unholy Rollers didn't get an opportunity to score any points. Reservoir Dolls picked up 21.
And jamming for the Unholy Rollers, in this jam we have Scarlet Osneria going up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. Scarlet Osneria getting up to the front against the Reservoir Dolls pack. She gets out of the pack, but not before Mouse gets in front of her. Scarlet Osneria, though, is your lead jammer for this jam.
It looks like she's going to ride this one out, see if she can get around and make some points, trusting in her blockers to keep Mouse back, and that they do.
That's just what they do, Rich, and they hold Mouse as Scarlet Osneria gets through the pack, picking up 4 points for the Unholy Rollers.
It looks like the Unholies have sprung their mouse trap, keeping Mouse back to the back of the pack, keep knocking her to the outside, allowing their jammer, Scarlet Osneria, to get through. She is struggling at the front up against some Unholy blockers.
But the Unholy Rollers blockers doing a great job of minimizing the amount of damage that Mouse can do with scoring points. And Scarlet Osneria picking up another picking up a Mini Madison Grand Slam there on that last pass. Total of 9 points for the Unholy Rollers that jam. Mouse did score 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Yep,
And
those 4 points did push the Reservoir Dolls up over the 100 mark. They have passed the century mark for score in this bout.
right at the century mark, Unholy Rollers with 30 points, just 70 points behind the Reservoir Dolls. And Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be going up against Lady Hoo-Ha of the Reservoir Dolls, who is your lead jammer this jam.
Yeah, Lady Hoo-Ha just sprinting through there to take lead jam, and you can see as she was coming around that fourth turn, going so fast, she had to really lean in, almost lost it. But really just some strong, impressive jamming from Lady Hoo-Ha.
Lady Hoo-Ha picking up 4 points that jam and calling it off. A lot of quick jams this bout. We're already on jam 13 here with 11 minutes left to go in this first period.
Yeah, definitely some fast-paced action happening tonight. It's amazing to think that it's been just over half this first half, and the Reservoir Dolls are at 104. Getting down to the action on the track, we've got Vendetta jamming for the Unholy Rollers up against Shenanigans for the Reservoir Dolls. Shenanigans breaking through first, taking lead jam for her team. They've only got 2 blockers on the track for the Reservoir Dolls, but they're going to do what they can to break up those Unholy's defense to allow Shenanigans to get through and score the point she needs.
Meanwhile, Vendetta sent to the WRT penalty box, leaving the Reservoir Dolls with a power jam. And it looks like Charlie Hustle as well as Tenacious D released from the penalty box now to bring the Reservoir Dolls up to full strength on this power jam.
Looks like we just lost Blitz Siren to the penalty box.
And it looks like Charlie Hustle is headed back there as well to the WRT penalty box. Great job though keeping the jammer from scoring too many points that jam. You gotta hand it to the Unholy Rollers blockers. They did keep Shenanigans back that entire second pass through. So Reservoir Dolls with 5 points on that last jam to the Unholy Rollers 0, bringing them up to 109 against the Unholy Rollers 30 points.
Lining up down in the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line. Mouse is going to be jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She'll be jamming against Gertrude Awakening for the Unholy Rollers.
And Gertrude Awakening taking to the inside line and recycled back. Mouse getting out of the pack first. Mouse is your lead jammer for this jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Gertrude Awakening hot in pursuit, trying to get some points up on the board. But it looks like Mouse calls that jam off.
Gertrude Awakening, though, did end up picking up 4 points before the jam was called, so very good play there. Sure, the Unholies are going to be not too unhappy with that play.
That's right.
Do have another birthday shout out here. We've got a happy birthday to Amanda Tollefson. Thanks for being the best fan ever.
All right, Amanda, happy birthday. And on the jammer line for the Unholy Rollers, we have Ginger Snap back out there up against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Reservoir Dolls.
Ginger Snap came through taking the lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. However, Lady Hoo-Ha is out of the pack and, well, looks like she's out for blood.
And Ginger Snap finds her way past the Unholy Rollers wall there, picking up all 4 points and calling off the jam. Lady Hoo-Ha right behind her, though, picks up 3 points for the Reservoir Dolls. Nice jamming and nice approach there by Ginger Snap to really use her speed and the position on the track to get past that wall on that little square on the inside that they didn't have covered. All right, now down to the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line. We've got Scarlett Osneria jamming for the Unholy Rollers. And she'll be jamming against Blitz Siren of the Reservoir Dolls.
Blitz Siren moving up, taking a position at the front of the pack behind the Unholy Rollers defense. She does have number 270 Slionine up there. Will trying to help her, now helping spread the pack out. Blitz Siren does get through, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
And the Reservoir Dolls blockers, Loch Ness Shenanigans and Lip Smacker holding back Scarlett Osneria, Microballer, who it looks like Scarlett Osneria has passed the jammer helmet cover to. So we've had a star pass there, which means Microballer, now the Unholy Roller jammer. But before she can get any points on the board, Blitz Siren calls off the jam, picking up 2 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Got one more birthday shout out here. Happy birthday once again to my mom. Thank you, Mama Mahogany. Happy birthday.
Mama Mahogany. All right, we got another shout out to, hey Brisket, we will miss hitting you tonight. Love the Res Dolls.
Speaking of people that the Res Dolls are hitting tonight, we've got Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She's going to get there and take lead jam, while Res Dolls jammer Mouse is also through. However, she is not your lead jammer, but she looks like this is going to be a fun challenge for her. She's like, ooh, warming up, I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna catch you, Blanche.
And Blanche making her way into the pack there, trying to get as many points as she can. She calls off the jam, picking up 2 points for the Unholy Rollers, and leaving the Reservoir Dolls with 0 that jam.
I'd like to remind everybody that the merch table will be closing in the next few minutes as we are getting ready to move into our halftime. At that time, we will be having the drawing for the winners of our Food Cart Fest contest, in addition to a performance by the Society of Canadian Anachronism, so stick around.
Jamming for the Unholy Rollers, Gertrude Awakening going up against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Reservoir Dolls. Lady Hoo-Ha trying to make her way past Hello Sailor and Bada Boom Box. She does, and picks up lead jammer status for the Reservoir Dolls. And Gertrude Awakening also making her way through the pack. Lady Hoo-Ha on her point scoring pass makes it out of the pack and calls off the jam. 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls to the Unholy Rollers, 0.
We're going to have another shout out to read here to my Uncle Jerry and Susie. Yes. Thanks for being my wonderfully supportive fans over the years. Much love, The Heat.
The Heat. Aw, The Heat. Shout out to Bam. And on the jammer line for the Unholy Rollers, we have Ginger Snap up again against the Reservoir Dolls Shenanigans. We've seen both of these jammers several times in this first period. Shenanigans making her way out of the pack first, and she will be lead jammer for the Reservoir Doll.
Ginger Snap also through the pack, looking to make a scoring pass. Shenanigans getting knocked to the inside.
Reservoir Doll's defense doing a great job holding Ginger Snap back, but she does fight her way out. Doesn't get around before Shenanigans can call off that jam, picking up 1 point for the Reservoir Dolls and leaving the Unholy Rollers with 0 in that jam.
Yeah, nice defense by the Unholy Rollers there, keeping Shenanigans at bay, forcing her to call off that jam.
And we want to thank another one of our sponsors, Ultimate Arts. It's the area's finest custom studio, and they specialize in doing as much original work as possible for their clients. Our Ultimate Arts. Now jamming for the Unholy Rollers, Scarlet Osnaria up against Jammer Lip Smacker for the Reservoir Dolls. And Lip Smacker being held up and recycled to the back, while Scarlet Osnaria is your lead jammer for this jam. Scarlet Osnaria trying to take an outside line there, being recycled back around by Mouse and Call It a Wild. Lip Smacker still trying to get past the Unholy Rollers defense. Trying to get past the last two, or trying to get past those blockers on the Unholy Rollers. Off Me Rocker, Micro Mauler, Hello Sailor, and Dive Hard. It looks like Lip Smacker has picked up a jammer penalty, a track cut, and she'll be sent to the WORT penalty box. While Scarlet Osnaria has a power jam for the Unholy Rollers. Just what they need with this point deficit here is a chance to pick up some additional points on this power jam.
Now that Reservoir Dolls defense being really aggressive, keep knocking her to the outside, probably wise to call that jam off, so they will start this next jam in a power jam situation.
A nice job by Scarlet Osnaria there for the Unholy Rollers, picking up 9 points. The Unholy Rollers keeping the Reservoir Doll jammer to 0, bringing their total up to 49 points. Now we've got Blanche Devereaux on the line, jamming for the Unholy Rollers. And I just want to say thank you for being a friend, Blanche, as well as you, Rich, and all of our fans.
Anytime, Dolly.
Blanche fighting against the Reservoir Doll defense there, getting that to the outside, but getting right back in the thick of the action. She finds a hole on the inside, and Blanche Devereaux is your lead jammer.
Here she is. Looks like Lip Smacker back on the track, looking to try to catch up. Blanche Devereaux is going to work her way through, beating up against that Res Dolls defense, slams into them, calls off the jam. Looks like before any points were scored by either team.
And a smart call off by Blanche Devereaux there with the Reservoir Dolls attempting to score some points in the back of the pack. Now jamming for the Unholy Rollers, lining up on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we've got Gertrude Awakening, number 314, and she'll be jamming against Blitz Siren, number 27, for the Reservoir Dolls.
Shenanigans getting up front, trying to break up that Unholy's wall, trying to allow Blitz Siren to get through. Blitz Siren does break through, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. And it looks like Gertrude Awakening is on her way to the WORT penalty box, giving Blitz Siren and the Reservoir Dolls a power jam.
Now the Unholy Rollers defense has to play tough here to keep Blitz Siren from scoring any more points than they already have. But Blitz Siren just bullying her way through there. She gets past all those blockers, picking up a mini Madison Grand Slam for the Reservoir Dolls. blockers, only 2 on the track, but trying to play a little bit of offense on this power jam. Blitz Siren trying to pass the last 2 blockers on the Unholy Rollers there. She does get past and picks up another Minnie Madison Grand Slam.
You can see the Unholies there really stretching out the pack. And fortunately, it looks like Gertrude Awakening flies back onto the track. In doing so, gets another track cut penalty, goes right back to that penalty box. She must really like hanging out in the WLT penalty box.
I don't think any jammers, any blockers like hanging out in the penalty box, Rich. But that's sometimes what happens. So Blitz Siren taking advantage along with the Reservoir Dolls of this power jam. But yeah, the Unholy Rollers really having a tough time and sending a lot of their skaters to that WORT penalty box, especially when the jammer, that's going to give them, that's not going to give them the upper hand in this bout.
And we just saw the pivot micro mauler go to the penalty box for the Unholy Rollers.
Blitz Siren just sweeping past those blockers, picking up another Minnie Madison Grand Slam. And as we total up all the points there for Blitz Siren scoring 25 points for the Reservoir Dolls in that last jam.
That will bring us into the halftime.
Wow, it's already halftime. That first period went so fast. And now we're going to get back to the action against the Unholy Rollers and the Reservoir Dolls. The Unholy Rollers at 49 points. The Reservoir Dolls taking the first period with an almost 100-point lead against the Unholy Rollers. To start off this jam, we'll have Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers, and she'll be jamming against Mouse on the Reservoir Dolls.
Looks like our skaters are not wasting any time getting into the thick of it. That is one chaotic pack, but Blanche Devereaux emerges victorious to claim lead jam for the Unholy Rollers.
Blanche Devereaux is lead jammer, followed closely by Mouse, hot in pursuit. Blanche tries to get around at least a couple Reservoir Doll blockers, calling off the jam. It looks like she does pick up 1 point. However, Mouse picking up 3 points, passing 3 of the Unholy Rollers blockers before Blanche calls off the jam. And now down on the jammer line, it looks like we have Gertrude Awakening jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming up against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Reservoir Dolls.
Gertrude Awakening trying to slide through a little bit of a hole there, does find a hole on a inside lane, taking lead jam for the Unholy Rollers.
Lead jam for the Unholy Rollers is exactly what we need or exactly what that team needs in this second period. Gertrude Awakening making her way through the pack, calling off the jam, picking up 4 points for the Unholy Rollers, and leading the Reservoir Dolls with 0 that jam.
All right, sounds like we have a timeout.
And it looks like that timeout.
Yeah, we have an official timeout, so we'll take that moment.
Official.
Yep, very official. It's the most official. You can tell by the arms.
That's right. Let's take this moment to thank another one of our sponsors, Rich.
Let's do that. We would like to thank Trevor Riesler, the Alvarado Group. Did you know that you can own your own home for 5% down or less? Start paying yourself instead of somebody else's mortgage. Visit www.daydreampropertiesmadison.com or find Dreamboat Fanny, aka Heather Riesler, on Facebook, and she can help you answer your home ownership questions. Good luck tonight, MRD family.
And jamming for the Unholy Rollers. In this jam, we have Scarlett O'Sneary on the track up against Shenanigans for the Reservoir Dolls.
Shenanigans going to break through first, taking the lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Meantime, Scarlett O'Sneary have been knocked to the inside by Knocking Jay.
Knocking Jay and Glockness a lot of times playing in the back of the pack there, making it difficult for the opposing jammer. Knocking them to the inside, recycling them back, or to the outside, whatever is most convenient.
And as a result of that knocking, Scarlett O'Sneary has taken a trip to the WORT penalty box for a back block penalty. So
that leaves Shenanigans and the Reservoir Dolls with the power jam. And Shenanigans picks up Minnie Madison grand slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Wow, she's finding that inside lane again, taking another Mini of Madison grand slam, 5 more points.
And the pack slows down, so it seems like Shenanigans gets around that track even faster, making her way around now. Just as Scarlett Osneria is released back onto the track from the penalty box. Shenanigans, though, trying to fight against the manipulator, handcuffs, and dive hard in the front of the Unholy pack. She makes her way through and picks up that grand slam, and 5 more points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Looks like there has been a star pass down on the track. Scarlett Osneria has passed her star over to the pivot dive hard.
And before dive hard can score any points on that pass, Shenanigans calls off the jam. Shenanigans picking up 15 total points there, maybe 16 total points on that jam, leading the Unholy Rollers with 0.
Let's take a quick moment to read another shout out here.
Right on.
Helen Woods, you are the bestest. Love, Mr. Carlson. Wow, a message from Mr. Carlson rather than to him?
Maybe he just writes all the shout outs anyway. And back to the action on the track. We've got Mouse jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She is the lead jammer for this jam. She's jamming against Ginger Snap on the Unholy Rollers. Ginger Snap just making her way past Blitz Siren and Call It a Wild. And Mouse, ready to call it off. She does so and picks up 4 points, keeping the Unholy Rollers at 0 for that last jam. I've got another shout out, Rich. This one goes to Mima and Papa. I love you, Mima and Papa. Love, Amara.
Oh, I love feeling the love at Rollin Derby.
Thanks for all your shout outs and all the love you've shown to our Bout charity tonight, Sheltering Animals of Abuse Victims, or SAAV. Remember to check them out and learn more about them.
Getting back down to the action on the track, we have Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers, jamming up against Charlie Hustle for the Reservoir Dolls.
And it looks like Blanche Devereaux taken to the outside by the Reservoir Doll blockers. Charlie Hustle, meanwhile, held on the inside there by the Unholy Rollers blockers.
Oh, those excuse me, those Unholy Roller blockers up front are going to help Blanche Devereaux get through and take lead jam.
Your lead jammer is Blanche Devereaux for this jam on the Unholy Rollers. And as she gets ready to take on the Reservoir Dolls, she tries to fight through the pack, calls off the jam, and picks up 2 points for the Unholy Rollers, keeping the Reservoir Dolls that jam at 0.
That does bring our score total up to Unholy Rollers 57, Reservoir Dolls 171, with 24 minutes remaining in the half.
And lining up on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we have Gertrude Awakening jamming for the Unholy Rollers. Gertrude Awakening will be jamming against Blitz Siren on the Reservoir Dolls. Blitz Siren being held in the back by a pack of Unholy Rollers blockers. Gertrude Awakening taken down by the Reservoir Dolls, allowing Blitz Siren to get up, move the pack forward, and get out of the pack first. Blitz Siren is your lead jammer for this jam.
Now Gertrude Awakening, though, hot on her heels, certainly not going to make this easy for her. Blitz Siren is going to try to engage the pack. See, she's not going too much further. Sees Gertrude Awakening coming up behind her, calls off the jam. 1 point for the Reservoir Dolls, 0 for the Unholy Rollers.
And Blitz Siren, the high-scoring jammer here for the Reservoir Dolls this bout. She scored 57 points. Lady Hoo-Ha, Charlie Hustle, and Shenanigans all coming in with about 20 points. Mouse scoring 42 points for the Reservoir Dolls. So Blitz Siren and Mouse, high point scores, but it looks like we have Mouse on the line now jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, and she's going up against the Unholy Rollers, Scarlett Osneria. Scarlett Osneria finding an inside line, and she is your lead jammer.
Now Mouse, though, right on her heels, going to forcing Scarlet Hysteria to call the jam. No points scored by either team that one.
And on the Unholy Rollers, we have Gertrude Awakening with 21 points, and Scarlet Osneria, the high point scorer this bout, with 22 points for the Unholy Rollers.
Looking down to that jammer line, the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we have Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She'll be jamming against Ginger Snap for the Unholy Rollers. Reservoir Dolls blocking is suffering a little bit. They've got two in the penalty box that were just released. However, that doesn't mean anything to Lady Hoo-Ha. She gets through and takes lead jam.
Ginger Snap hot in pursuit. Lady Hoo-Ha approaching the pack. She gets past the Reservoir Dolls in the back and then hung up by the Unholy Rollers blockers in the front. Pulls off the jam before Ginger Snap can score any points for the Unholy Rollers, and she picks up another point for the Reservoir Dolls.
The Unholy Rollers are doing a really good job of picking up the pressure that they're putting on the Reservoir Dolls, because now we're seeing a lot more jams where it's just 1 point scored.
That's
3
right.
points scored. Very, good to see that they're fighting back here.
They sure are, and they're going to keep needing to do so to beat that 20 or so point deficit that they face right now. Trying to do that on the track is Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She's going up against Blitz Siren on the Reservoir Dolls. And it looks like we have a track pot penalty called on the Unholy Rollers jammer, Blanche Devereaux, sending her to the WORT penalty box. And that'll leave Blitz Siren. She's determined to be your lead jammer for this jam. She is also on a power jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
And with not only the Unholy Rollers jammer, but one of their blockers, the manipulator, over at the penalty box, there's going to be a bit of a rough one for the Unholies. We got a little bit of a tumble in the pack there, allowing Blitz Siren to get through. However, it looks like that might have been caused by Blitz Siren. Blitz Siren did pick up a back block penalty, will be heading to the penalty box herself, which will release Blanche Devereaux and give her a power jam and a chance to kind of turn the tables on this score.
Blanche Devereaux now able to score some points for the Unholy Rollers, just what they need. It looks like the Reservoir Dolls picking up the pace a little bit. Unholy Rollers playing some great offense to help Blanche Devereaux get past that pack and pick up a Mini Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Unholy Rollers. Blanche fighting her way past knocking Jay and Cyanide, last two blockers on the Reservoir Dolls.
So it looked like Blanche Devereaux was knocked to the outside. However, there was a low block called on knocking Jay. So she goes off to the penalty box, allowing Blanche Devereaux to get through. She takes 5 points in a Mini Madison Grand Slam.
And Blitz Siren back on the track from the penalty box, but having a hard time. It looks like she did fall into another blocker and then get knocked to the outside there. Meanwhile, Blanche Devereaux getting through the pack, or not getting through the pack, but it looks like that jam has ended. And Blanche picking up 10 points for the Unholy Rollers. The Reservoir Dolls, however, also picking up 10 points. So another jam that's a wash. Another jam where each team
It's a
takes
points
a
wash, but it is
stand.
certainly no wash when it comes to excitement, Dolly.
That's right. And Rich down on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, taking off there, we have Lip Smacker jamming for the Reservoir Dolls against Gertrude Awakening for the Unholy Rollers. And Gertrude Awakening out of the pack first. She is lead jammer for the Unholy Rollers.
Lip Smacker out as well, looking to close that gap, trying to score some points before Gertrude Awakening can call off the jam. It looks like that jam is called off. Gertrude Awakening picks up 3 points for the Unholy Rollers, 0 for the Reservoir Dolls.
And we've got another sponsor to thank. Let's thank our sponsor, Fast Forward. Fast Forward Skate Center. Come discover the fun of roller skating. And Fast Forward is where the Mad Rollin Dolls practice to learn all these skills that they're showing you tonight. On the jammer line for the Unholy Rollers, we've got Scarlet Osneria up against Charlie Hustle. from the Reservoir Dolls.
Scarlet O'Snare going to break through, picking up lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. In the meantime, Charlie Hustle is still back in the pack. This is looking like a really good jam for the Unholy Rollers as Scarlet O'Snare re-engages the pack on her scoring pass.
Scarlet O'Snare taken to the inside and not down. She does call off the jam as she gets up there, picking up 1 point or 2 points for the Unholy Rollers. Unholy Rollers now at 72, Reservoir Dolls at 183. And we've got another shout out. This shout out goes to the Monroes. Thanks, Monroes, for being wonderful fans over the years. Much love from the Heat.
Looking back down to the action on the track, we're going to have Ginger Snap jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming against Knocking Jay for the Reservoir Dolls. Knocking Jay pressing up against some defense from the Unholy Rollers. In comes Mouse to break up that wall. Knocking Jay gets through, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
And Ginger Snap trying to fight her way past Blitz, Siren, and Mouse on the Reservoir Dolls. Last 2 skaters to pass. It looks like she does get through, but falls down, so she recycles herself around back to enter behind Mouse. Meanwhile, Knocking Jay through the pack, calling off the jam, picking up 3 points for the Reservoir Dolls and keeping the Unholy Rollers at 0 for that jam. We also want to thank one of our sponsors, Our Lives Magazine, celebrating the LGBTQA community and improving readers' quality of life. Our Lives Magazine.
Whistle blows, we're getting back down to the action. We've got Lip Smacker jamming for the Reservoir Dolls up against Blanche Devereaux for the Unholy Rollers. Blanche Devereaux going to break through first, taking lead jam. Looks like Lip Smacker been knocked out to the outside, was recycled back, getting through now, leaving just a path of destruction in her wake. However, she is not quite through the pack. Blanche Devereaux, however, looking to make her scoring pass as she engages the wall of Reservoir Dolls.
Jendetta taking a stab there at Lip Smacker, but she gets past and skates around the track, making her way through on a point-scoring pass again. This time Jendetta knocking Lip Smacker to the outside and recycling her around to the back of the pack. And it looks like we had a star pass there from the Unholy Rollers, jammer Blanche Devereaux, passing the star to pivot Dive Hard. Dive Hard, now the jammer for the Unholy Rollers.
However, it looks like she has just been called out on a track cut penalty. What a bummer, that looked like such a strong start to that star pass. But so Dive Hard is now in the penalty box, giving Lip Smacker and the Reservoir Dolls a power jam.
And Lip Smacker taking advantage of that, picking up a Mini Madison Grand Slam. It looks like that might be her second one in this jam. The pack comes to a stop there, and it looks like the Unholy Rollers have Lip Smacker, but the Reservoir Dolls coming up with some offense there. Lip Smacker getting through for another 5 points.
Yeah, a lot of hits, lots of pushing and shoving happening in that pack, but Lip Smacker does come out victorious. She's going to re-engage the pack, trying to slide around the Unholy Rollers defense. Doesn't quite happen initially. She is going to get through, though.
And she gets through and gets 4 more points. And that'll bring the Reservoir Dolls Lip Smacker jam there up to 18 points scored by Lip Smacker. Unholy Rollers jammer scoring 1 point in that jam. So we've got a 204-73 lead with the Reservoir Dolls over the Unholy Rollers. If the team wins by 100 plus points, which we already have in the last bout, you get free chocolate chip ice cream. So,
unfortunately, if it happens twice, that doesn't mean you get 2 scoops. You'll still only get the 1.
All right,
getting back down into the action, we have Lady Hoo-Ha taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. She's jamming up against Gertrude Awakening for the Unholy Rollers. Lady Hoo-Ha getting through, picking up 4 points and calling off the jam before Gertrude Awakening can get on and put any additional points up on the board. So 4 more points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Reservoir Dolls really taking the lead early and then just holding on to the strong defense that kept the Unholy Rollers from being able to score some points. Now keeping up that momentum and just really playing hard throughout every situation. They seem to be going back and forth, but still picking up those grand slams and getting the other skater in the penalty box. Now we've got Scarlett Osneria on the line, jamming for the Unholy Rollers, off the line actually, going up against Blitz Siren, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
Looks like Blitz Siren is a little bit surrounded by Unholy's blockers there. She's going to try to get through. Looks like her other blockers are going to give her a hand. However, not quite enough. Scarlett Osneria gets through first, taking lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. Looking back into the pack, it looks like Blitz Siren has been knocked out and recycled to the back by the pivot of the Unholy Rollers' dive hard.
And that gives Scarlett Osneria a chance here to pick up some points before the Reservoir Dolls jammer is able to do so.
Yeah, that's right, Dolly.
Scarlett Osneria finding her way on the inside line and calling that jam.
Definitely not a bad jam at all for the Unholy Rollers, picking up 5 points, keeping the Reservoir Dolls to 0. So that brings the Unholy Rollers score up to 78 against the Reservoir Dolls 208, with 11 minutes remaining in this game.
11 minutes left. Let's hear it for the Unholy Rollers. Jamming for the Unholy Rollers, we've got Ginger Snap up against the Reservoir Dolls Mouse.
Mouse going to break through on the inside, picking up lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. In the meantime, Ginger Snap still fighting up against, looks like Call of Duty Wild, as well as Lip Smacker, keeping her back there. Mouse coming around, starting to score points on the scoring pass, picks up 4 points, and is right on the heels of Ginger Snap.
And Mouse looks like she's going to take another lap around that track, trying to pick up some more points. She meets up with a wall of Unholy Rollers in the back of the pack there, trying to get through. And Ginger Snap is through the pack, as well as Mouse. Both jammers picking up 4 points on that pass.
Mouse looking to try to lap Ginger Snap again. Both jammers approaching the pack, looking to make another scoring pass. Mouse engaging all of the Unholy blockers. See, she's not going to have it quite so easy time getting around them that time. Calls off the jam.
And Mouse calls off the jam, picking up another couple points for the Reservoir Dolls. Bringing that jam total for Mouse to 9. Unholy Rollers jammer with 6 points.
Do have another shout out here. This one says, Res Dolls, this is your game. Now go out there and take it.
And Rich, it looks like that's just what the Res Dolls are doing. Charlie Hustle jamming for the Res Dolls now, up against Blanche Devereaux, taking off from the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line. Blanche Devereaux fights against Lady Hoo-Ha, Tenacious D, and Sassbot making her way through and picking up lead jammer status. Your lead jammer for this jam is Blanche Devereaux.
Looks like we've got Charlie Hustle still fighting her way out of the pack. Getting a lot of chest bump in there going on against, let's see, that's number 38 for the Unholy Rollers, Off Me Rocker. Great defense happening over there for the Unholy Rollers as they keep Charlie Hustle back. Looks like Blanche Devereaux got delayed a bit at the back of the pack, trying to make her way out. However, the Reservoir Dolls blockers are going to push her to the outside. Charlie Hustle now through, ready to start making her scoring pass.
And Charlie Hustle able to get through with a little help from Lady Hoo-Ha. Lady Hoo-Ha and Lip Smacker, however, now being sent to the penalty box. That'll leave the Reservoir Dolls with a 2 start for blockers, or down 2 blockers for the start of this next jam.
We do have another shout out here. This one says, good job, keep skating, I love you, love Lizzie.
And Blanche Devereaux getting 4 points on that last jam. Now jamming for the Unholy Rollers, Gertrude Awakening, number 314, jamming against Shenanigans, 9mm for the Reservoir Dolls. And Gertrude Awakening making it past Cyanide and Blitz Siren to pick up the lead jammer status for the Unholy Rollers.
Shenanigans still fighting against the full force of the Unholy Rollers defense. trying to chip away at it, but not quite making any progress. She's just surrounded there. In the meantime, Gertrude Awakening getting through, picking up a mini of Madison Grand Slam, and 5 more points for the Unholy Rollers.
And Gertrude Awakening around the track again, in and through the pack. She picks up another 4 points for the Unholy Rollers and calls the jam off before the Reservoir Dolls can pick up any points for their jammer. So 9-point jam for Gertrude Awakening, bringing the Unholy Rollers up to 97 points. Reservoir Dolls with 217. Still about 7 minutes left to go in this period.
Lining up on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we're going to have Scarlet Osteria jamming for the Unholy Rollers up against the Reservoir Dolls' Mouse. Mouse starts right off the bat, pushing up against the Unholy Rollers' defense towards the back of the pack, with Scarlet Osteria pushing against the Reservoir Dolls' defense at the front. She does break through. Scarlet Osteria is your lead jammer.
And Mouse there getting taken to the outside, but gets right back in, trying to find a hole on the inside lane. Scarlet Osteria, meanwhile, getting back through the pack. She does so and calls off the jam, picking up 4 points for the Unholy Rollers and leaving Mouse scoring 0 there for the Res Dolls. That brings the Unholies to 101. With just a little over 6 minutes.
Breaking that 100 mark, we do have a few more shout-outs to read for you here. Mr. Carlson has something else to say.
What do you have to say, Mr. Carlson?
Mr. Carlson says, he who smelt it, dealt it. Mr. Carlson kind of strikes me as a bit of a Confucius figure here.
And jamming down there for the Unholy Rollers, jamming off the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we've got Ginger's Snap out there again, number 617, up against Lady Hoo-Ha, number 31 for the Reservoir Dolls. Lady Hoo-Ha trying to get a little help on offense from the heat. She does make it through the pack and is able to pick up the lead jammer status. Ginger Snap, though, hot in pursuit, right on her heels.
She might as well be skating on top of her as it stands. Lady Hoo-Ha, as they're both approaching the pack, and decides, okay, we're playing a little bit of game of chicken here. We're calling off that jam. 0 points scored on either behalf there. We will be lining up for the next jam. Looks like we have Blitz Siren jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She'll be jamming against Blanche Devereaux. However, a timeout has been called by the Reservoir Dolls, so we have a moment to thank a few more of our sponsors, Dolly.
That's right, Rich. We want to thank our sponsor, Just Coffee, bike-delivered fair trade organic coffee roasted in Madison. Just coffee, justice from the grounds up. We also have another shout-out here, Rich. I've got a shout-out. Hey, Carrie Lentz, you're the best Res Dolls fan in the world. Thanks and much love. I bet Carrie Lentz knows who that's from, so we don't need to, I guess. A private shout-out.
We do have one more shout-out here. I believe this is the last one of the night. To Matt from Darwa, you're a legend.
Matt who, I wonder, is a legend? Some Matt out there is a legend.
Don't you know Matt?
Someday, Rich Mahogany will be a legend, as well as Dolly Pardon Me.
One
The
day,
voices of roller derby here for all of you.
our names shall be written in the stars.
But right now, we're going to tell you who's out there jamming for the Unholy Rollers, and that's Blanche Devereaux, number 65, going up against Blitz Siren, number 27 for the Reservoir Dolls.
It's like Blanche Devereaux gets around some of the last lines of Reservoir Dolls defense to take lead jam for the Unholy Rollers.
And those Unholy Rollers trying to make their way out of the front of the pack to give Blitz Siren a little bit more opposition, but Blitz Siren out of the pack now. Both jammers trying to score points. Blanche Devereaux getting up to the front of the pack with a tight wall of Reservoir Dolls there. She decides to call off the jam, picking up 2 points for the Unholy Rollers.
I believe that does bring our score now to Unholy Rollers 103, Reservoir Dolls 217. We are just below 4 minutes remaining in this bout,
But that's okay, Rich, because the action goes on after the bouts, and that's at our after party at Badger Bowl. Come on down. While the Reservoir Dolls and the Unholy Rollers might be going against one another here on the track, at the after party we all have time to get
this jam that Mouse is now the lead jammer of, as she jams against Gertrude Awakening. We can all say, hey, remember that jam?
That's right, Mouse lead jammer, making her way around the pack. Gertrude Awakening, trying to score some points as well for the Unholy Rollers.
Both jammers getting through, making 4 points on their scoring pass. Mouse getting through, staying on one skate to stay in bounds as she picks up 4 more points and calls off the jam.
That leaves Mouse with 8 points for that jam. Gertrude Awakening with 4. And we'll still have 3 minutes left to play here, so let's hear it for these jammers and these blockers. Let's hear it for both teams out there on the track. Unholy Rollers and Reservoir Dolls. Down there on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line for the Unholy Rollers, we have Scarlett Osnaria on the jammer line again. For the first time jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, we have Tenacious D, number 333.
Tenacious D fighting up against those that are getting really knocked around by the Unholy's defense. We're going to have Scarlett Osnaria getting through, taking the lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. However, Tenacious D now out of the pack, looking to make up some of that distance.
And Unholy Rollers, back of the pack there, Scarlett Osnaria calling off the jam after she scores 1 point for the Unholy Rollers. And we'll line it up for another jam.
Yep, looks like we're going to have Ginger Snap down on that Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She is going to be jamming against the Reservoir Dolls, Knocking Jay. Got the Unholies taking up a defensive position up at the front of the pack, looking to keep everything on lockdown. We'll see what can happen here. Knocking Jay pushes to the outside, knocks down one Unholy Roller, jukes to the outside, trying to get by. She is going to get through, takes lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
It looks like third time was the charm there, and that try to the outside there. Knocking Jay, lead jammer, and she's jamming against Ginger Snap for the Unholy Rollers. Ginger Snap, however, sent to the penalty box for a track cut.
So that gives Knocking Jay not only a power jam, but she has picked up a mini of Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points for the Reservoir Dolls. Picking up a nice number 5 points with that sweet apex jump. She's just racing around the track. Let's see if she can do it again.
Unholy Rollers down 1 blocker and no jammer on the track right now. They have Jen Detta, Micro Mauler, and handcuffs there trying to play, or doing a good job playing defense up against Knocking Jay that pass. She does call off the jam, picking up 10 points for the Reservoir Dolls. And the Unholy Rollers with 0 in that jam.
We are lining up now for what is likely to be the last jam of the evening. The period clock is ticking down. We just passed 19 seconds.
And jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, we have Whipsaw. She'll be jamming up against the Unholy Rollers jammer, who I believe is still in the penalty box from the last jam. That's Ginger Snap, so she'll be released from the penalty box when she served her penalty. Meanwhile, Whipsmacker, lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls.
Yep, getting through there, looking to make a scoring pass, pick up as many points as she can before this game ends. You can see the Unholy Rollers blockers starting to form up towards the back. Reservoir Dolls blockers starting to break that up, though. Lipsmacker is going to get through, picking up another mini of Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points. Ginger Snap back on the track for jamming for the Unholy Rollers.
And these skaters going to jam until the whistles blow, as well as block as best they can. Lipsmacker approaching the pack now, knocked to the inside, and she does call the jam. And it looks like an official final there. Reservoir Dolls with 7 points in that last jam, bringing their total to 242 points. Beating the Unholy Rollers with 108 points. A great job by both teams. We want to thank the fans for coming out. We want to thank all of our sponsors for helping us out. Thank you to everyone who gave some money for the shout-outs. And please, remember to join us after you say hi to your favorite Reservoir Doll or Unholy Roller at the autograph table.
right, well, that just about does it for us tonight, Dolly. Thank you all to all the fans who have come. Without you, none of this would be possible. And of course, we all have much more fun with all of you here to join us.
That's right. We want to thank you all for supporting the Mad Rolling Dolls. Check out our next bout on February 20th.
Yeah.
It's going to be about a month away, so it might be a long time to wait, but check us out.
But you won't have to wait as long as we had to wait between the last bout and this one.
That's right.
Just under a month. If you haven't gotten your tickets already, you can go and get them online or check out any of our ticket outlets. Otherwise, you can always buy them when you come here on Bout Day. Save a few bucks though. Go out, get yourself your tickets early. Tell your friends, maybe take advantage of some group sales. One way or another, thank you all for coming out and jamming with us as we jam out tonight.
That's right, Rich. Jamming out here